Hey folks, I'm Terry with Two Hubs here, and by now you're able to tell we are carrying Bianchi bikes added into our line. Really excited about this. So why don't you hang out with me for a few minutes while we get into the history of Bianchi and also get into our first impressions here of the Ultra XR2, their flagship bike. Bianchi is the oldest bicycle manufacturer in the world, having started in 1885 in Milan, Italy by Edoardo Bianchi himself at the age of 21. He was known as the Little Blacksmith. Since then, it's taken many cycling legends to countless victories. Fausto Coppi, Marco Pantani, Jan Ullrich, and in the current era, riders such as Bauke Mollema, Lars Boom, who just recently won a stage in the Tour de France on the cobbles. So needless to say, when you are riding a Bianchi bicycle, you are representing a lot of cycling history and racing heritage. Now, Ultra means beyond, and the Ultra XR2 is the latest iteration offered by Bianchi's Proprietary Corsa, their racing division's HOC line or beyond category line of racing bikes. Think beyond category where imagine going over and above category or beyond category climb. You're going to empty out your pockets just to get up and over that thing. Well, think of their racing division leaving no stone left unturned to build an uncompromising, like the ultimate performance bike. Just think stage wins. Right now, this is an aero road frame, ultimate in stiffness, acceleration, aerodynamics, and a superleggera package. At first glance, I thought that the Ultra XR2 was going to be as uncompromising as a butcher's cleaver. Again, aero, road frame, very stiff. But with its technologies and ultra thin stays here, it is surprisingly smooth and a compromising ride. So let's get into some of the design features here and technologies that allowed Bianchi to accomplish all of this here with the XR2. The first technology I'd like to discuss is the X-Tex carbon crossweave that Bianchi utilizes here in the head tube and in the bottom bracket area. Now these are the areas of the frame where the most amount of material is needed, because they need these areas to be quite stiff, and that's where a lot of the weight occurs in their frame. So what they use is very thin strands of carbon to basically build a mesh or a crossweave. And that allows them to preserve stiffness or generate torsional rigidity without having to put all that weight into the frame. A culinary analogy might be compare your Eggo waffle to your pancake. What's going to be stiffer, what's going to be lighter? The waffle always will edge out the pancake. Next, let's discuss WMP, or wrinkleless molding process. Now, I don't know if you've ever taken a look at the inside of a raw carbon head tube junction or even bottom bracket on a carbon bike. You can going into the down tube and the top tube, or coming up into the seat tube, you will actually see excess carbon materials, if you will, imprints or evidence of shrinkage and whatnot. Basically excess carbon and resin accumulating on the inside of the bike. And what that does, what's bad about this, is it's adding extra weight to the frame, and it's actually cutting into the ride characteristics of the bike. It's going to diminish ride quality because the engineers spend a lot of time shaping the tubes to basically eliminate oscillations, etc. So their wrinkleless molding process keeps everything smooth inside the frame, improves ride characteristics, and also cuts down on the weight. And what we noticed putting together our first couple of frames here, whether they were mechanical Campi groups or Shimano Di2, was just on our first try routing cables through, we'd get them basically get them through the down tube or the top tube without any extra tries, if you will. I'm sure some of you can relate to how frustrating certain frames can be. Well, it goes to show the quality in the manufacturing and attention to detail and the worthiness of Bianchi's WMP process. Now moving on to the hindquarters of the frame here, you'll see Bianchi utilizing their UTSS or ultra thin seat stays. And the reason for this is they wanted to incorporate a bit of compliance into this performance-oriented frame. Just think seated efforts, you're matching away, putting down a lot of wattage for a long period of time. They want the frame to be comfortable. And they're able to do this, or the frames can afford to do this just due to it's got some significant chain states here that integrate into a 386 EVO bottom bracket. So very stiff bottom bracket configuration here on the frame. So that's certainly the key component here to the comfortable ride that the Oltre XR2 delivers. Now, something I've been really excited to cover here is the attention to detail that Bianchi's Reparto Corse, the racing division, put into the Oltre XR2. Again, goes back to the HOC or beyond category. They wanted to deliver torque quality, the ultimate in performance here. Again, no corners cut. Here, looking at the head tube, you're going to find a top cap carbon tie Bianchi, specific in their Celeste livery, if you will, or colors. They're using a nice Torx. It looks like a T25 head there, so you can't strip it. And that is complemented by carbon tie Celeste Bianchi aluminum bottle cage bolts. That actually really gets my blood going when the bike manufacturers don't skimp on hardware. Something that's always bugged me. Moving on back to the seat collar and the seat clamp here, all the hardware is titanium. So again, their racing division's effort to keep the frame weight down. What's in my hand here is a Di2 specific battery wedge that it basically goes here inside the seat post. Really a nice piece. And looking at the frame, you'll see that it is mechanical and Di2 compatible. This frame here has the mechanical cable, derailleur cable ports covered up, but the way that they do it, it's just so streamlined and flush. Just looking at the gaps of the cap, it is really a nice, precise, along with everything and all the lines on this bike. Again, no corners cut, and fit and finish is, in my opinion, not met by any other bike manufacturer out there now. Now, who is the Oltre XR2 for? Well, it's for a lot of people. Whether you're doing flat rides, dealing with crosswinds, or even time trialing, this bike is going to deliver. Edging out people on the climbs, and with its racy European geometry, it is pure bliss. It is so fun to descend on, and it's stiff enough to accelerate with the best of them. Again, they made no shortcuts here with the Oltre XR2. But what's also very important is that this Bianchi Oltre XR2 has a ton of heritage behind it, and that's something that I really appreciate, because at the end of the day, you should appreciate what you ride. Well, thanks for hanging out with me. If you have any questions about the Bianchi Oltre XR2, or any questions about Bianchi in general, you know how to reach us at twohubs.com. That's info@twohubs.com. Other than that, make sure you enjoy the ride and be sure to cycle safe.